college student loan crisis has pissed everybody off. We're all sick of it. We, the taxpayers, are sick of being on the hook for $1.6 trillion in guaranteed student loans. Yes, we're on the hook for it because if you people that owe it don't pay it, the taxpayer picks up the bill. That's how this works. And oh, by the way, if it's forgiven, the taxpayer picks up the bill. So you getting out of your student loans doesn't mean that the nation got out of your student loans. Doesn't mean that there's still not a $1.6 trillion drain on the economy. So it sure has brought up a lot of discussions about the value of college and the importance of a university education and the stupid stuff and the illegal stuff that people are doing in order to get their kids into school. We've got the Hollywood elites that, bought their way into ridiculous situations, tried to get free school, kids that are supposed to be on the rowing team and aren't, and all that garbage. Just straight up fraud. And go to jail, don't pass go. Now we're having to deal with a district attorney, and it's all in the spotlight and tabloid headlines. And so here comes another group of fraudulent misfits in the culture. Dozens of college students from well-to-do families. Now, this didn't say millions. It said dozens. It's all over the news as if this is an epidemic plague on our culture. It's not. It's just another handful of crooks. Dozens of college students from well-to-do families may be getting money reserved for poorer families thanks to a legal loophole. They are giving up custody of their own children. What scum? This tactic is legal but ethically questionable. Do you think? Says Andrew Borst, the director of undergraduate admissions at the University of Illinois. Chief among his concerns, financial aid money is limited. Money we give to one student is money not going to another student. Well, besides that, it's fraud. Ethically, you're not poor. You shouldn't be taking poor people's money that was set aside for poor people to go to college. That's what a Pell Grant is. It's for poor people. People that don't have money. I'm afraid if I save too much money, my kids won't qualify for financial aid. Well, no crap. I'm afraid if I get a job, I don't qualify for welfare. No kidding, doofus. What kind of morons are you people? This is unbelievable. Here's how the scheme worked. Families near Chicago. Oh, here's a shock. Thank you, Chicago. Jeez. You mean there's financial problems in Illinois? This is new news. Would give up legal guardianship of their children to relatives or friends. Students would then file for financial independence, which effectively opened the door to financial aid that they would not have been able to access while under the legal care of their parents who had the freaking money to send their kid to college. The University of Illinois started investigating after high school counselors from quote, fairly wealthy neighborhoods had called in to inquire about low-income orientation programs they were unfamiliar with. The university dug deeper and found a pattern of students entering into legal guardianship, though they were still supported by their parents. Thank you. Well, I'm glad they dug it out. So it's just like saying, I'm going to move all of my grandmother's $1 million out of her name so she qualifies for Medicaid nursing home. We're going to move it out of Granny's name. How can we get the assets out of Granny's name so the nursing home doesn't get it? See, that's called welfare fraud. They have the ability to look back 5 years and undo your illegal transfers of wealth for you to illegally qualify for welfare nursing home called Medicaid nursing home. The only way you get free nursing home is you are on welfare. The only way you go to college and the government pays for it based on your income is based on the fact that you don't have any money. You're poor. I've been poor. I know how it feels. I'm not mad at you if you're poor. This is not poor shaming. It's not what I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I'm quite much taking up for the people that qualify for these things legitimately. If you qualify for a Pell Grant legitimately, take it. I'm fine with that. Go to college. It's wonderful. Then maybe the next generation you won't qualify. This is awesome. But wealthy parents legally disowning their children so they can qualify for need-based financial aid, unethical? It should be illegal. If it's not, it's unethical at a minimum. I mean, that's like a slam dunk. But illegal? I don't know if it's illegal, but it should be. This is just, it ought to be just like these, these Hollywood socialites who, paid their way for their kid to get into school. This is just nuts, you guys. This is just nuts. Listen, no one likes it when someone busts the system and rigs it against why it was put together. It makes all of us get our back up because we all believe in justice at some level. Now, some of you believe if you can screw someone, you should be able to, and you can get away with it. But most of us have a sense of honor, a sense of decorum, a sense of ethics. We don't treat other people. I would never think of that. I'll give you another example. In the state of Tennessee, you can get $3,000-something per year under the HOPE scholarship if you're an in-state student going to an in-state school. That money is provided by the people who lost the lottery. The lottery in Tennessee generates billions of dollars and has paid billions of dollars out in HOPE scholarships. I hate the lottery. The lottery is a tax on poor people and a tax on people who can't do math. It's a horrible thing. I campaigned against it when it was up for a vote. I knew we were going to lose. People wanted the lottery. You got the lottery. The vast majority of people who play the lottery are in lower income zip codes. The HOPE scholarship program in the state of Tennessee and the state of Georgia and other states who do the same thing is 100% people who can't do math and poor people sending middle-class people and rich people kids to college. I can't stand it. I've been a loudmouth about it for 20-something years. I hate it. Now, how ethical would it be when my kids went to the University of Tennessee for my kids to take the HOPE scholarship money? It would be completely unethical. It would be so hypocritical, it would be unbelievable. So no Ramsey kid of mine, my three went to the University of Tennessee, my three graduated from the University of Tennessee, received any of the Tennessee lottery scholarship money. If I'm going to preach against it and say how horrible it is that the government has institutionalized taxing poor people and stupid people, these are the only people that play the lottery. If we're going to tax these people, if I'm against that, how wrong would it be? How hypocritical would it be for me to accept that scholarship for my own kids? Of course I didn't take it. Folks, we have to have some ethics. We have to have some honor. We have to have some dignity. There has to be a sense of decorum out there. And this is not a widespread epic thing. This is a handful of stupid people. Almost all, the other article I read on this said is almost all through one law firm. And so we ought to go in and disbar those lawyers. And we ought to investigate whether or not this is actually technically welfare fraud. At least put up a couple of these people's names on the front page of the paper and embarrass the crap out of them for being the scum that they are. At a minimum. It's not an epidemic, though. What is epidemic is what's always been epidemic. There's always a crook out there in the pile somewhere. And it just shows up and becomes very emotional around a subject we're all pissed off about, like student loan debt.